everybody that's joining. Welcome. So this is On the Cloud podcast. I am Frack, who is a part of On the Cloud podcast. It's Frick and Frack. So we're just doing interviews with other podcasters, kind of reaching out. And today we have a very special guest. His name is DeRon. I'm gonna let him just introduce himself to you all. So you can go ahead.
My name is DeRon. I'm an influencer, a relationship coach, author. I've been married 17 years. And prior to being married, I was a hoe for a real long time. So I'm pretty popular on social media for giving a male perspective on dating and relationships. I'm kind of the opposite of the pandering dudes that are out there telling women what they want to hear. I focus more on telling women what they need to hear by explaining to them the things that they do or the way that they approach dating that are ineffective, the things that they do to create unnecessarily conflict with quality men, and the observations men make about women that cause them to struggle with dating overall. So okay. I appreciate you having me on.
Okay. All right. Well, can you just tell just the viewers and everyone who's listening a little bit about like your podcast overall?
Yeah. Well, the name of my podcast is the Hold a Husband podcast. And it's me and my co-host. We got together. I always, it's amazing how much you learn being a hoe from a male perspective. And so I'm able to articulate a lot of things that guys can't really explain. And so I explain, we talk about dating and trending topics and things that go on in regards to men and women, just from a raw, uncut perspective. So it's entertaining, and we bring on guests that, are in the relationship realm a lot of times, therapists, advisors, etc. So they give their perspectives and their insight to my audience for free.
Okay.
So it's a win-win.
All right. Yeah, I did check that out. You give a lot of good advice. I'm like, I got to get all the cloud listeners a little piece of what you got going on. And you also mentioned that you're an author as well. Could you just talk a little bit about that and like the book that you kind of published?
Yeah, I have a couple of books out. My first book is a novel called Game Recognized Game. And it basically kind of shows you kind of firsthand the games men and women play when they first get involved romantically. So the main character transitions from college at HBCU to corporate America, and it shows you how you can get lies, deception, get catching feelings, all that type of stuff. So the book really reflects a lot of the stuff we talk about on my page. And that's actually kind of what sparked me to becoming, a relationship advisor or whatnot, because it would spark so many conversations. Because first of all, women thought it was me and my roommates was the characters and all that. So then it would be like, why do men do this? And why do men treat women, approach dating this way? And a lot of stuff that is no brainer to me or just seem like common sense, I realize a lot of other people don't really think like that. And so being able to tell the perspective of men that are successful with women without having to lie to them or trick them into coming out the panties. They just get women based off their character, their personality, their swag, etc. Those guys tend to make the best husbands. And so I teach women how to get along better with those type of men.
Okay. All right.
My second book is a book called It's Not That Complicated. Where basically I'm giving a male perspective on dating and relationships in a simple, simplified way that women could understand it. And then my most recent book is a book that I co-wrote with Dr. Andre Blaylock called Forensics of Cheating, where we do a deep dive into the mindset of a cheater and the thought process that a person, goes through when they decide whether they're going to cheat or be faithful.
And what about the compatibility guide? I did see a little.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I don't really consider that a book. You're right. You're right. That's probably the most important thing that I have, though. Okay. I really wanted to help women improve their dating experiences. So I created a dating for dummies how-to guide that really breaks down what dating is and the kind of conversations you should have with somebody that you're dating. It includes some evaluation worksheets and a calendar so you can actually evaluate the people that you're dating. And I made it $1.50. So I wanted it to where you don't like have no excuses. Like if you're serious about not going through the same patterns of dating and you can't afford $1.50 to download something directly to your phone, then you ain't really serious about improving your dating. But I think that dating guide, the reason that it's so significant is because it allows women to take their feelings about a dude in that dating experience and turn it into data. And I think when they do that, they're able to make better dating decisions.
I feel that. Yeah, I definitely need that. Yes. So just in a nutshell, I guess just like my first question for you is overall, what do you think, or from a male perspective, what do men like?
Men overall, they're looking for pleasant experiences. That's what I would say in a nutshell. They want their home life to be pleasant. They want their vacations to be pleasant. They want their parenting to be pleasant. Like guys are that overall, that's what they're looking for. But they're also looking for somebody that they sexually attracted to, that they can fulfill their sexual fantasies or wishes with. Somebody that is on the same page as they are as far as financing and future goals. Somebody that they can actually build with. The guys that I talk about, that's what they're focused on. Because they've had a whole phase where they've already experienced having sex with lots of women or dating, living a Playboy type of lifestyle, and they make decent money. So when they're looking to settle down, they look for kind of the same things with just different spices and seasoning on it. You know what I mean? But overall, somebody where their home lifestyle is going to be a comfortable environment where they can be comfortable, and if they want to invite their friends and family through, it's going to be a cool vibe for everybody.
Okay.
A chick that can create that has a much better chance of getting wifed up than a chick that can't.
Okay. All right. So, like overall, with knowing what men like and getting women's perspectives, I'm guessing you get a lot of DMs, a lot of questions, a lot of comments towards that.
Yeah, I mean, I get all kind of questions. People, well, my page kind of is evolved. I give my own perspectives, and if I think of something, I can create a post and post it with my own caption and everything. But I'm really, what I get a lot of is people will screenshot me or tag me in other videos. That's probably what got me blocked from Shade Room. But people will tag me and stuff, and they'll be like, "What you think of this, Terry?" So I'll give my honest opinion. And a lot of times, if it's something that's pandering or some BS, people feel some type of way or whatever. But it is what it is. I think there's so much misinformation and stuff that prey on hopeless romantics and women that are just hoping they fall in love and all that type of stuff. So I just want to, even though I get painted as the bad guy a lot, you know what I mean? Because I'm being brutally honest, you know what I mean? Like when you're not having sex with your followers, you can keep it 100. You know what I mean? Because women getting mad at me telling them how men operate doesn't change how men operate. You know what I mean? Like the smart women will get it like, well, damn, that was painful to hear. But if you can hear something painful that corrects something that you thought about men that was inaccurate or was a myth or don't make no sense, then that gives you the opportunity to correct it and move differently going forward. And so, women will come to a crossroads. Either they're going to keep thinking what they always thought and doing it how they always did it, or they'll look like, well, damn, everything he do say do make sense. Yeah. And every example he give, I know several people that have done it or been like that, etc. And if you ask him a follow-up question, he can explain in great detail why what he's talking about plays out the way it plays out. Those women benefit immensely from my page. Those are the ones that send me the DMs like, man, I'm engaged. I can't believe it. Woo, woo, woo. But it's really about just eliminating the stuff that create unnecessary conflict.
I feel that. So how does that make you feel when you get comments from just like your fans and people who's listening and they took like your advice and your postings and just kind of changed it within their relationships?
It feels good. I was somebody that I didn't like social media at first. I thought it was a waste of time and stupid or whatnot. So to see that I can reach people in Africa and Europe, and people book sessions with me, and like we got to coordinate, you know, what time to do because they live in Australia. I'm like, damn, how the hell somebody in Australia spending money to help me improve their marriage or their relationship? So to me, it's over. It's kind of surreal, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not used to social media like being popular or being recognized like that. You know what I mean? Like, so it's you know, it has its challenges, especially because I get so much negativity. So that can spill off on my wife. Like, it changes how she handles her social media. Like, she don't want me tagging her and stuff, and not because of my crazy followers and all this type of stuff. So it has the good and the bad, but I like when I hear the good feedback, that's what I try to focus on instead of the negative.
Yeah.
But it's hard. The trolls stand out.
Social media is social
Yeah,
media.
yeah. Like, you be like, who you talking to, bro? Like, the
Yeah.
clapback is natural.
Okay. All right. And then I didn't hear you mention, but how long have you been like a relationship coach, or how long have you had the podcast?
I started giving relationship advice in 2016, so it's 6 years now.
Okay.
I've probably been podcasting for about four, maybe five. This is my third podcast. Well, it evolved. I started off on Blog Talk Radio, and then I created a podcast called More Than Love. But I didn't really feel that I was planning on having a female host when I came up, but it was like pink background and stuff like that. And I didn't really feel like it fit me. So I added one of my frat brothers to the podcast, and I came up with a name that I thought was catchy and really fits my brand. Hold a Husband really kind of fits me to a T. And it's a perspective that I think most women really want to relate to, because those are the guys that they really after. You know, I don't know how rich dudes operate, but I can tell you that a millionaire that's a pro athlete is going to operate and move way different than the average dude that make 120K. So women have a much better chance with the 120K dude. And I think their lifestyles and their life would be a lot more fulfilled if they can actually link up with a quality dude early on.
Okay. I feel all of that. Okay. So, well, on the Cloud podcast, we just kind of started literally a year ago. So
All
just
right,
to tell
keep
you,
going.
Yeah, we're gonna keep going. Just a little bit about us. Like, with my co-host and I, we basically graduated college together. Our target is like to focus on the youth, whether that's like career goals, jobs, college, everything, and just looking at what's going on in life. So like, we have random topics each week. So we're on season 2, episode 2, and we're just talking about mental health and counseling. So to kind of tie you in, I have another little question.
Okay.
How do you feel about relationships just attending counseling overall?
I think it's a great idea. Counseling for a lot of people, well, at least guys, a lot of times guys will book a session with me because they want somebody to kind of referee the discussion. What men experience a lot of times is they get overtalked, they get accused of being a liar, women treating their feelings like facts and using it as evidence and all this type of stuff. And so a lot of times what should be effective communication to resolve the issue really turns into like an interrogation, and, you know, like where a cop's presenting false evidence and lying to you, and you trying to combat the falseness and prove that you're not. Like, that's what most relationship arguments or discussions are like for the male perspective. And when you break it down, like if you could get a transcript of an argument, you'd see a lot of times where the woman is making up, she's treating one of her feelings like a fact, or something that she accusation she's making, she's treating it as a fact and using that as justification for her hostility or her anger or whatever. And instead of the guy being able to really address the problem at hand, he has to try to correct it. You said I did this and that was a lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got to go fact check instead of actually resolving the issue at hand. So a lot of times from the male perspective, it's really almost impossible to really resolve serious issues with a woman where something she's doing or thinking is inaccurate or the problem. Um, my page is a perfect example. A lot of women don't respond well to that. It instantly triggers disrespect. It triggers them to deflect the conversation and bring up something a man did or something you did. Like, so those frustrations from the male perspective are why guys kind of handle dating the way they.
Yeah. So I feel that. So also, you mentioned just relationships kind of going through counseling maybe as a relationship. Do you think that it's best to like go to counseling or seek counseling before a relationship to kind of work on yourself? Have you thought
Um,
of that perspective?
I think it's. I think marriage counseling is appropriate before marriage. I don't know if a person just randomly needs counseling to get a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Because of getting a boyfriend or girlfriend is still really a trial stage. You're just showing that I like you enough to stop actively dating other people, and let's see if we like each other enough or we compatible enough to take it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, you can do that without creating no kids in between, right? Um, so I don't think necessarily a counselor is necessary for that. Um, I don't think a person can be forced to go to counseling. You'll see that a lot of times. Like they'll get an ultimatum where they want you to go to counselor because they want the counselor to reinforce what they say or what they think or what their perspective is. So a lot of times women will get upset if I don't agree with what they said or their interpretation of events. So it's like, well, you paid to come get a Terry DeRon stamp of approval on your accusations and your assumptions. You know what I mean? Like instead of trying to find out what the facts are and really resolve the issue. So if a person is considering marriage, I think that they need to go to counseling for that to understand what it really entails to be married.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, marriage come with a lot. Not only is that like a companionship, but that's literally like a business if you look at it from both perspectives. Like everything is half and half. So I definitely understand that as well. So like with relationships and dating, I'll just start with a brief example for me. So being young, I'm 24, just finishing college. And I think like with our generation and like with my age group, we look at dating as okay, we can't date multiple people at one time, or
Why not?
like I don't want like people always say, okay, if you're doing that, you're a hoe, you know. So like, can you
Well,
elaborate a little bit on that in dating and?
I mean, well, first of all, if you're gonna be doing grown up stuff, you
Mm-hmm.
gotta have tough skin, right? Technically, if we got criticized for what we did sexually, we'd all be embarrassed and humiliated and etc. Right?
Yep.
So what somebody else say about what you do in your bedroom shouldn't really bother you that much as an adult. Um, what you should be focused on for dating is trying to find somebody that you actually compatible with, because that's what's missing. You know, a lot of, you know, especially women in your generation, they focus on who they feel like can give them some designer lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Like who can turn up, who can be buying sections. And guys adapt. Oh, bet. This is the easiest way to get chicks is to stunt. Show my money on the gram. You know what I'm saying? Come up with a fly username. You know what I'm saying? Like Trap Boy 225. You know what I'm saying? Like just they know what it takes to get women to rock with them, because men have to study women. They always have.
Mm-hmm.
Women don't really gotta pay attention to dudes, you know, and so a lot of women don't. They don't really know what it takes to make a man want to stay with them over a long period of time. Like, yeah, they know how to go through the cycle of meeting, dating, start having sex, drama, breakup. You know what I'm saying? Like, all women know how to go through that cycle, but they don't know how to make a guy choose to give up all his other women, choose to only be with one woman, especially the dude that's used to sleeping with 4 or 5 women at a time.
Yeah.
Like, what makes him voluntarily choose to do that? A lot of women don't really care to learn about that when they should. You know what I mean? Like, you would think that that's something that would be extremely valuable to women, but they much rather hear about F boys and bums and deadbeats.
Yeah, I feel that as well. Yeah, I just know like with our generation coming up, it's so much around dating and people have so many comments about it, and I just know, like, growing up
It's
having both
important.
parents, I mean, yeah, it's definitely important. And just looking at the fact that just be you, you know what you want at the end of the day. So, or
Well,
some women
see,
don't know.
that's
Go
kind
ahead.
of a bad phrase to use. Like, you're not gonna get everything you want.
Yeah,
You
you
know what I'm saying? Like, so what you want, that's just a wish list. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be foolish to pass up a quality person because they didn't check off everything on your wish list.
oh yeah.
Like, those are the people that are end up 45 and still single because they don't have a realistic perspective on dating. Like, you got somebody that check majority of your list, and then the other stuff they can improve on it, or you can compliment it. That's a winning situation. But a lot of people don't view it that way. You know what I mean? Like, just their perspective on dating in general is flawed to begin with. So they cut off people for stupid reasons. They end relationships for stupid reasons. You know what I'm saying? Like, their expectations of people they date are often not realistic. And from a male perspective, that's not real pleasant to deal with.
Yeah, that's a good point. Definitely. Because like even though you want basically who you want, but just knowing that they're not going to check off everything literally on your list. And sometimes, as a woman, we
And you're
come
not gonna
in.
check out his boxes either.
Yes, I was just about to say, like, it's certain things that we're not going to check off, but it's just that concept that we're willing to work on that together. So I definitely feel that as well. So
Yeah, that's
just
where the love kicks in.
yeah.
Because when you, from a male perspective, when a dude loves a woman, that means that he's willing to use the resources at his disposal for your benefit, even though he don't have to.
Hmm.
That means that he thinks about your well-being long term when he's thinking about his own, and he don't have to. And it means that he's gonna be willing to deal with stuff from you that he wouldn't deal with from nobody else. So that's how men demonstrate they, not by being faithful, not by buying a Birkin, not by doing none of these things that women always post about. And so it's like they don't know what real love is. They don't pay attention to what men are actually doing. They'll criticize a dude because he didn't pay 100% of the bills because he could only afford 60%. They'll say you're a roommate and treat him with disrespect. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
stupid,
Yeah.
silly. Because if anybody with common sense knows, well, damn, men's income typically goes on a massive increase from 20 to 30 to 40 to 50. But you curving him because he's starting out at the entry level. Like, what'd you expect from a 26-year-old?
Hmm.
They expect them to be balling like a dude that's in his 40s. Stupid.
And what do you think is the cause of that? Like, is it social media, or what do you think is the
It's
biggest?
everything. I
Is
mean, it's media. It's generations of, if you shouldn't be paying no bills. If he ain't paying no bills, he shouldn't be this. And if he ain't doing this, you shouldn't do
yeah.
this. Like, women trying to leverage sex and put a price tag on sex and all that. It's been taught for generations how um, to try to leverage men or come up off of men. Um, it's no different. I mean, sex sells, right? And that's why you have industries that have been built on it. So it's always going to be that way because men have to compete for women, and men are attracted to what they see for the most part. So women are going to focus on being attractive visually, and a lot of times they don't realize or understand that a woman's personality is way more important than her looks or her sex game.
Yeah, I feel that too. So I have another question. So what is like your perspective when you're thinking about when maybe the woman is more in a dominant figure as the man, or like the woman is carrying a relationship? What are your perspectives just on that?
Um,
Or you have a
just I
strong
just think it
and a
makes me
woman.
think the dude's weak. You know what I mean? Like, but I that ain't really my business. That's how I assess a situation. A man that would get in a relationship where in a situation where he's being dominated is a weak beta male. You know what I mean? That don't mean he's a bad dude. You know what I mean? Like, beta males they could have a healthy relationship. You know what I'm saying, with a woman that actually respects them. you know what I'm saying, actually has boundaries, actually ain't, you know what I'm saying, like intentionally disrespect them, etc. There are some dudes that would rather have a woman to make the decisions, or whatever the case may be. But a woman that is just with a dude that she can just get her way and do whatever she want to do, she's dysfunctional and she's toxic. And she just found a dude that was weak enough to go for it.
Toxic. That word, toxic. Another common word now.
Yeah, I mean, gotta stay with the trends. I mean, it is what it is. But if you're not able to identify it, or you're not strong enough to be able to cut it off or move around, then it's on you. You know what I'm saying? Like a dude that proposed to a super disrespectful, cuss your mom out type of chick. That's on you, dog.
What do you expect?
Yeah, like I can't feel sorry for that. Just like I can't feel sorry for a woman that accept a proposal from a broke PlayStation expert dude. You know what I'm saying? Like all he do is roll blunts and play 2K, and you having raw sex with cuz? Like, sis, I don't feel sorry for you either.
Yeah, I mean, everybody put themselves in their own relationships, and that's pretty much what they have to go through if they're okay with it. So very true.
Yeah, how you make the decision to start kicking it with somebody is super important. I always thought other 20-year-olds was thinking like I thought, like back when I was single and in my whole days. But I'm realizing that a lot of people don't be thinking about none of the strategy on how to end up with somebody that you actually want to be with. You know what I mean? Like, you're in your 20s, like you in your prime dating. This is the time period where you should be finding a husband. So this is where it would be the most hurtful for you to have some stupid social media philosophy, right? And so that's the problem. Like the people that give out the stupid philosophies are the shade room and the pages with 5 million followers. Some pandering dude will post, "Hey bozo, cash app her, or don't ask her for nothing." And women, it'll go viral. It'll go viral. And women say, "Yes, woo, woo, woo."
You see so
like,
many
damn,
shares.
all 5 million of the comments is women that are buying into this clueless stuff, that claim that they want to be in a healthy relationship. But absolutely nothing that they say or do says I'm built for a healthy relationship. Like, it's like, are they not aware of that?
Yeah,
Do
that's
or
why
do
a lot of us.
women realize men pay attention to what they do? It don't seem like they're aware of it.
Some do, and that's why a lot of us say. I mean, we don't know if it's still some guys out there. It's so much going on, and so many posts with social media and just how the world is operating now. They're just taking one comment, one post, and just running away with it. So it's hard to like find whoever you're looking for. And then COVID now too, so things kind of shut down. Now we got virtual dating. What do you think about virtual dating?
Well, the process of dating is always going to be the same. Mm-hmm. You meet someone by looking at them, either a picture, a video, or in person, and you begin to communicate with them in some type of way. So that can be done virtually. That can be done through an app. That could be, because it can always, all it takes is, what's your number? And now it can go from app to texting to calling, to here's the address. Like, so just how you get to them steps don't really matter. Two people that are actually compatible, he could see your picture and be like, "Oh, she's cute. Look at she went to school here. Oh, okay." You know what I'm saying? Like that interest, that trail of, I'm gonna click this. Oh, I'm gonna click your bio. Oh, I'm gonna click this. I'm gonna actually send a message. Like, if she respond back, like, "Oh, I saw you." You know what I'm saying? Like, if he's getting some positive energy back, tell him where it could go. So how you meet somebody is not really important. What your interactions with them, the quality of it. What are y'all talking about? Are y'all just sitting around scrolling y'all timelines talking about what's on y'all timelines? Or are y'all having real life discussions about what if scenarios, life scenarios, etc.? Like, all the stuff that I put in my dating guide, like, man, it's crazy though, right? When I was writing it, like, man, I actually got to tell people what to talk about when they kicking it with somebody. Like, to me, you know, to be a hoe from a male perspective, you gotta be a black belt at doing stuff like that. Shooting your shot, going through the administrative process of meeting new chicks, the where you from, what's your birthday, what's your sister and brother, who are just you gotta be experts at having them conversations and building that trust for a woman to voluntarily sleep with you. Especially if you ain't rich or famous or athlete or nothing. So you don't realize how important or how much of a skill set that is until you where I'm sitting at and I'm writing books off of it and getting booked to do speaking engagements off of it because a lot of guys don't really have it, and a lot of women don't recognize it.
Yeah,
They focus on things that don't really matter.
I was gonna mention like communication is probably like the biggest struggle nowadays, just overall with dating and people not even having that open or even open to have that conversation when they're dating. So like the phones is taking over. We're sitting here scrolling and can't even look at each other face to face no more. So
yeah, it's gonna be different. I think people that are a little older, like in my generation, I'm 42. People in my generation that were adults before social media blew up, I think they're got a much bigger advantage on the dating world because they interact with women on a much higher level than guys that are just becoming adults now.
yeah. Okay, well, I feel that a lot of good advice, a lot of good input. Definitely got to get that all read through your books and just kind of go through all of that as well. So, do you have any questions or anything for me?
Well, I didn't necessarily have no questions, but well, I do want to give you your props. Congrats on a year into your podcast. Being a content creator, you starting off, you're not getting paid, and you gotta put your own money in and invest your time on a consistent basis. A lot of people don't really see the background. So props to that. You know what I mean? Like that's why I'm always willing to come on a person's podcast or whatever, because my degrees in TV production. So I know what it's like, like if you can get somebody with a name or some followers to actually come on your podcast, it can get you some followers, get they people to pay attention to you, etc. So I'm always down to show the love. So keep it up. The fact that you're aware of what the problems are and you actively taking steps to move around it, that's a plus. That's a sign that you're willing to learn. Um, and realistically, I think social media gives women like you a blueprint on what not to do. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because yeah, you can get more likes and you can get more followers by being a thought, but that's not really what most women want to be seen as. Like when you envision yourself in your 40s, you don't envision being the thought that all the 20-year-olds is trying to smash. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that ain't lit. That ain't lit from a female perspective. You
And
know what I'm
what you
saying?
gonna do when you get old and don't nobody want you no more?
But on social media, that'll get portrayed to be like it's lit because she's driving a Ferrari or she's getting out of something foreign. So I can see why it would be difficult for your generation to actually navigate, figure out, what they should be focused on because it's a lot of nonsense out there.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, that kind of concludes most of the questions I had today for you. And I want to thank you also again for coming on. Look forward to kind of working with you in the future as well. But to kind of end off, just tell everybody who's watching like where to follow you, as far as your other social media handles and any last tips or any last comments.
You can find me. My primary social media is Instagram at Terry DeRon, DERON. My website is terryderon.com. There you can get my novel, my relationship book, or my dating guide. My latest book, Forensics of Cheating, is available on Amazon only at this time. But if you go to my Instagram page in the link in my bio, you can reach my YouTube channel, my podcast, or all of my other content.
All right. Well, thanks again. Thanks so much for joining on the Cloud Podcast. And thanks everybody for tuning in. Make sure you go follow him. Make sure you go follow us as well. A lot of more content will be coming for you soon. And thank you. You guys.
All right, have a good one.